So we're all racing to bring AI into our organizations, right? But in that rush, are we accidentally creating a massive security blind spot? It turns out the very speed that makes AI so incredible, well, that's also its biggest vulnerability. Let's dig into why. And look, this isn't some far-off hypothetical question. This is the tightrope that basically every leader is walking right now. How do you get all those amazing productivity gains from AI without, opening the floodgates to data breaches? It's a really delicate balancing act. To really wrap your head around this, picture it this way. A human employee, well, they're kind of like a librarian, carefully checking out one book at a time. It's a manageable pace. It's linear. An AI agent, on the other hand, that's like a super fast robot that can scan the entire library in a fraction of a second. Your old security systems, the ones designed for that human librarian, are just totally unprepared for the robot. And that right there brings us to the core dilemma. See, if you lock down all your data too tightly, you're essentially putting your brand new AI in a cage. It can't learn, it can't grow, and it definitely can't deliver those game-changing insights you're looking for. But if you leave it too open, you're just asking for trouble. So we need a smarter, more adaptive way to think about this. This is where a new approach called Data Security Posture Management, or DSPM, comes into play. You can think of it like a really smart security guard for your data, one that is constantly assessing the situation, understanding the posture of your defenses, and then adapting its strategy on the fly. And we'll be looking at Microsoft's Purview as a great example of how this all works in the real world. Okay, so how does this whole smart security guard thing actually work? Well, it all starts with getting a bird's eye view of your entire data landscape. I mean, you can't protect a city if you don't even have a map, right? So on a typical DSMP dashboard, you're going to see these key metrics that give you a really quick health check. This first one tells you what percentage of your files have been classified. And you might be wondering, why does that matter? Well, it's simple. If you don't know what's in your files, what's sensitive and what's not, how can you possibly know how to protect it? This next metric is all about your actual security coverage. Think of it like a security camera system in a museum. This number tells you what percentage of your most valuable stuff is actually being monitored. A low number here is a huge red flag. It means you've got massive blind spots. And this third metric, it's all about your response time. Because in the age of AI, threats move at lightning speed. This number shows you how quickly your team is actually dealing with potential issues. And that's the difference between catching a threat in the act and discovering the crime scene a week later. Now, this is where that idea of a unified view really starts to click. As you can see, this isn't just about what's happening in your Microsoft services. We're also seeing data from Salesforce, from Snowflake, from Databricks. This gives you that complete picture of your data risk, no matter where that data happens to live. Okay, but, seeing the problem is one thing. Fixing it, that's the real magic. So let's see how you can go from just having insight to taking real action in just a few clicks. The whole point of a solution like DSPM is to make this process incredibly simple. It's a super clear 4-step workflow. First, you identify the biggest fire. Then you understand what's fueling it. Next, you apply the right extinguisher with a recommended policy. And finally, and this is key, you measure the impact to make sure the fire is actually out for good. All right, let's make this real. Imagine this scenario. The system just flagged a major issue. Over 30,000 of your files are at risk of being overshared. That is a massive potential data leak just sitting there, waiting to happen. So here's our before picture. And yeah, that towering bar represents the huge number of files that are currently exposed. It is, for all intents and purposes, a ticking time bomb. So how do we defuse that bomb? Well, the beauty here is the system doesn't just yell fire and run away. It actually gives you the solution. In this case, it's a simple policy change that you can apply with just a couple of clicks, right from the dashboard. And boom, here's the after. With that one simple action, we've cut that risk in half. You can see the immediate measurable impact on your security posture. That is the kind of power we're talking about here. So we've covered data that's just sitting there. But what about when it's actively being used, especially by all those AI agents we're deploying? Well, that's a whole new ballgame, and it comes with its own unique set of risks. To handle that, you got to know who's in the building, right? You need a clear inventory of all the AI agents operating in your system. This lets you see at a glance which agents are active, what their risk level is, and if any have been automatically quarantined because they started doing something suspicious. And when the system does flag an agent as high risk, it gives you a clear playbook. For example, it might recommend that you restrict that agent's access to sensitive financial data, which would prevent a potential breach before it could even happen. At the end of the day, this is about more than just playing whack-a-mole with security threats. It's about building a strong security culture, where protecting data becomes a daily habit, not just a desperate one-time fix. And the best part? Getting started with these kinds of tools isn't some huge, complicated project anymore. A lot of them are designed to be up and running in just a few simple steps, so you can start protecting your data almost immediately. I think this quote really sums it all up perfectly. The goal isn't just about adding another piece of software. It's about empowering you to build a sustainable security discipline, a muscle, really, that's going to serve you well into the future of AI. So let's bring it back to you. As you're running full speed ahead with AI, it's worth taking a moment to ask yourself, is your data security actually keeping pace? Because in this new era, your AI is only as strong as the data that fuels it, and that data is only as secure as the posture you build around it.